All right, we'll start over. Some days, you know, the internet ain't working, baby dolls, but we'll do a take two. I apologize for the inconvenience of sorts. Let's send out a tweet while we have 0 people listening. Love it. But I appreciate you guys and the patience that you show me. Maybe I should have done this beforehand, but you know what? I didn't. So, voila. Hello. Colton Gunn is my buddy, the great Jordan the Lionheart, is joining us in between videos. We had some technical difficulties, Jordan. I had to start over again, but we're back for an hour stream before hockey starts full tilt. To get the numbers up, I think I'll talk about the NHL trade deadline. What the? I want to make the 2 people in chat happy. This is the little stream that could. I'm just a streaming soldier with cover art by Jordan the Lion, with the new Smokey and the Bandit thumbnail going quite well with the fans. Hit that like button. 5 people in here and 0 likes. Come on, man. Yes, I think Hollywood is trying to cancel me. But in one way, you can't cancel someone who has nothing to cancel. What are you going to do? Cancel my stream? Come on now. Going to cancel my 12-15 spots? GTFOH, if you know what I'm saying. I'm giving to you people. Buying neon signs, buying cameras, microphones, wires. And one day you're going to say, I remember, Earl, when you just had 4 people in your stream on a Saturday. Like, I could do a stream right now individually to each of you. But now that we have 6 people, we got to be cool. We got a busy night in the Skakel household for TV. We've got hockey. We've got Collision. Boy, that rampage last night was rough. I mean, it was bad even fast forwarding through it. We'll talk a little AEW wrestling. We'll talk. Well, thank you, Ross Incognito. You're a soldier. Sorry about the rough internet to start the show. Probably was better that we started over. I was eating on camera, out of control. But that's why you like the Earlverse. I was having a good conversation with Dr. Chow, but we'll wait till he comes back to get into the Ty Rivera video. That's not Dabbleverse stuff, so we can talk about that. I'll direct some video views to Ty's page. If you go on Ty Rivera's page, he did a video earlier this week about the mothership, and it was a scathing review. So A lot of people have strong opinions on it. Um, and, if you know Ty, that's his brand. So to burn it down and, we'll see what the long-term effects of it are for him on the Austin comedy scene, which strikes me as a small community, even though there's a lot of comics there. People talk and all the clubs are next to each other. So, you've got the Creek and the Cave, you've got Cap City, you've got the Mothership, you've got the Vulcan Gas Company. So, I think when one thing pops off, it spreads like wildfire. Wildfire Tommy Rich. Uh, Now, Chuck Taylor does not do it for me, to be honest with you. I mean, it's probably already imploding, you know. But I will say, when I did comedy in Austin, the Austin comics were very nice to me. I had heard through back channel sources that, they were not happy with a bunch of LA comics invading their turf. But, that didn't really mean much to me because I live in Los Angeles, Hollywood, more specifically. And literally every day, or at least every other day, there's a comic coming to LA, clogging up the scene here. Uh, some good, some bad. So I don't, that's how comedy works, man. Austin's a hot city right now. It's got many clubs. Yeah, sorry about that, Chris. I don't know what was going on. I mean, I had, right now until I get a better internet situation, I use the hotspot on my iPhone and, just took a second to get going. But we're back, 13 people strong. Um, so I don't really feel too bad for Austin comics with them getting inundated with the LA comics. And, it's like the comics who come out here. Are there some good comics in Austin from LA? Uh, yes. Are there some bad comics who go to Austin? 100%. Which is part of the reason I don't go that much. I mean, I don't want to see you do comedy in LA 10 minutes from my house. I'm not going to hop on a plane and go 3 hours um, uh, east to watch you bomb there. Yeah, I mean, the Kim Congdon Ty thing. I mean, Ty started it, so and Kim kind of went at him a little bit, and Sarah did a little bit on their podcast. I think it's called the Bitch Podcast, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, the first video got like 30,000 views. I think the second video got around 5,000. So, a pretty big drop off in terms of interest or whatever. Um, I think the first video was kind of shocking. Like, oh my God, someone's talking shit about the mothership. I mean, you're not going to see too many people doing that, especially someone who and Ty just moved to Austin. Now, I don't know Joe very well. He's always nice to me, but he just kind of strikes me as the type of guy who will call the Creek and the Cave and Cap City and go, "Hey, you want your comics to play my club? This comic better not play your club." But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe he's. I don't even know if he's seen the video. I'll assume he has, but he's too fucking busy to be watching comics he doesn't know and their video beefs with um, the club or Adam, the booker. Yes, we are back for more, William. I think Annie Letterman wants the hog. No, I think she's getting married, so I don't think she doesn't. But who knows? I've been on Pro Wrestling Tees mulling my Sting choices. Oh yeah, I mean Ty and Melton, like they're bitter enemies. I mean Melton devoted probably 2 to 3 years uh, hammering Ty, so they are not good friends. I don't think they ever were friends, but, I'm surprised Melton hasn't talked about the video, but, he's, knee deep in the dabble. Yeah, marriage doesn't stop most people from cheating, but, I don't know what Annie's type is. I'll assume Todd is her type. I don't think I'm Annie's type, so it's just a hunch. She's not my type, but I don't really have a type, as you guys know. So, um, I wish them well. I'm friends with Annie, so we don't see each other a lot. She goes on earlier at the store. I go on late night, like tonight, 12:15 in the main room. And yes, Jordan, I do help. Holtzman takes over Austin because that means I get his spots at the Comedy Store. Uh, Sorry, Tardif, this is a Dabbleverse free stream. We don't talk about Stuttering John or Joey C or MLC or, you know, I welcome people from the Dabbleverse, but we don't talk about it here, which probably explains why I only have 22 people in the stream. But you know what? I'd rather have that than having to talk about, isn't it crazy Stuttering John stutters? That's nuts, right? Uh, there's probably about 7 to 10 streams that will talk about that. And this is not one of them. I'm a soldier of the streaming world. I try and give you guys a stream that is about everything and nothing at the same time. And hopefully you like it. And if you don't, you can always click off the Earlverse stream. Um, but welcome, Tardif, Epileptic. I don't, it's an interesting screen name. I will give you that. But in this stream, we talk hockey, pro wrestling, ex-girlfriends. I mean, you guys know the life that I've lived. Talk about that doesn't include people streaming talking about the cast of characters in that world. Now, I will be doing Hackamania, but Leslie won't talk to me, so I don't think that we can ever make love. But we did make out once at Roast Battle, and I'm gonna be honest with you, given our current beef, she's a great kisser. But I haven't talked to her in years. I mean, we see each other I tried to make it right last year at the or maybe it was 2 years ago at the 50th anniversary party, and I still literally don't know what she's upset about. But I know I'm a good person, so that's on her. Um, but I mean, I knew her when she lived in her car and was borrowing money from Stephen Azizi. So, I'm happy for her success. I love people who, make it, after they struggled. So, I don't know. I think we can both live if we never talk to each other again. Uh, yes, we are platonic friends, but because I'm friends with Melton, I don't think Ty likes that, which I get. But I'm the type that I don't expect people to carry my feuds. Like, do you know how many mutual friends I have with Jeff? But um, I don't. We just don't talk about Jeff when we're together. But I mean, Melton. I mean, when he goes in on someone, he goes in. I mean, he just doesn't do one video on you. I mean, I think he did, I want to say like 2, 3 years of videos on Ty. And I think he doesn't do it anymore. He's moved on to like Chad and whatnot. I'm telling you, Jordan, she was a great kisser, like, nice soft lips, but, I'm not I really I've tried to talk to her like, "Hey, can we squash this?" And she, like, blows me off, so it's like, I'm the type that if I try and make a situation right and you blow me off, I'm like, "Okay, I'm much more liked up here than you are, so you're not gonna harm me in any way." So, but, that the mothership video by Ty was incredibly interesting. Yeah, Leslie does well every time I see her. I mean, there was one night though, none of us did well in the main room, her included. I mean, everyone was bombing because the crowd was horrible. And I never blame the crowd. I think as a comic, if you're funny, you can tame any crowd. But apparently, and I didn't know this until I got off stage. And what up? Not sure. I think you're new to the stream, maybe. Hello. The crowd, it was right before the Rose Bowl, so the who played in the Rose Bowl? Was it Alabama and Michigan? It was half Alabama, half Michigan. So you could tell there was like an uneasy tension in the room. And you could also tell that the crowd had been drinking all day. So it was like doing a comedy show for half Bloods and half Crips. It was a brutal room and everyone was bombing. I mean, and I was I've got a few jokes in my repertoire that I know work in almost any condition, and they weren't working that night. So, but no, I have no Barry Sobel stories. Although one time Willie Hunter posted, I think it was a Halloween party, and uh, he said, "I'm going to dress as Michael Jackson," and I said something to the effect of, "Is Barry Sobel coming with some kids?" And Barry Sobel saw me one night at the Comedy Store. He's like, "Hey man, you got to take that tweet down." I'm like, "I don't got to do shit. It's all covered under parody and First Amendment." And he just kind of looked at me and walked off. He doesn't get spots anymore at the store. He hangs out at a bar Monday nights where a bunch of young comics, struggling young comics, are. Gee, I wonder what's going on there. But I'm the bad guy. I mean, this business is unbelievable. But and that's a Corinne Fisher. I've never met Corinne Fisher. I don't know how she would want the hog. But I mean, I find her attractive. So there's an inappropriate oral podcast quiz. Uh, have I slept with more guests, or have more predators been on my podcast? It's pretty even, to be honest with you. I mean, he blocked me on Dylan. He blocked me on Twitter. I'm assuming it's because of my association with Roddy. I mean, listen, man, what happened happened. I mean, when you see it in Roddy's podcast, I believe was the top podcast other than Stone Cold's on Podcast One. When you see a top-rated podcast get canceled or taken off the air, there's a reason. And then when we went to, I think it was Earwolf, which is a now defunct um, podcast studio, we got kicked off of there. Ratings were just as good. So, um, I don't. I think Stone Cold. I don't think he runs his own account, but I think I said something to the effect, "Dude, your gimmick was crushing beer cans on your forehead. Get a sense of humor." Um, and I've been blocked ever since. I'm only blocked by, I believe, Leslie, Stone Cold, and Hulk Hogan. And O.J. Simpson has not blocked me, and I hammer that guy for being a double murderer. Uh, uh, Allegedly, of course, allegedly. Yes, They Live is a great movie. Um, yeah, I mean, isn't that wild, Jordan? Like, I stand up to a predator, and I mean, I'll never forget the time I was talking to Brenton Biddlecombe, who at the time, and he probably still is, a very young comic, and he's kind of a good-looking, like a twink, you would say. And Barry Silva walked around the corner and literally stopped and was drooling like Hugo Drax's dogs in Moonraker. That's a deep cut reference there. Um, I just, well, no, I mean, they were paying Roddy. I mean, I didn't get paid for it, but Roddy wanted to pay me, and I believe him. I don't know. It's pretty close. I mean, if you start adding up my podcast guest list, but there's definitely been some predators, and a lot of people are like, "Why don't you take the predator episodes down?" I'm like, I need the numbers. Hello. Oh wait. Speaking of the dabble, we have the man who stirs the drink in the dabble. The great Chad has Kevin Brennan would say Chad Zumock. Chad knows he likes to do a drive-by every now and then. We don't do the dabble in here, but I welcome all dabblers, and we can talk. Z-Man, I still have that T-shirt. Okay, we can. I allow crosstalk. I work alone on this podcast. This is not a podcast. I work alone on the stream. I would have OJ on Inappropriate Earl. Um, well, you will be able to hear the waitresses dropping checks tonight when I'm on stage at 4 in the morning. Yes, the Seek and Destroy. That you got to give Tony Khan this. He might be a fan with $1 billion, but it is great that he gets the music. Like for the Elite with Omega and the Young Bucks, he got Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, for Collision, and for the Elite's entrance. Carry on my wayward soldier, don't you cry no more. I mean, that had to cost a few bucks. And Seek and Destroy, isn't that a Metallica song? Like that wasn't cheap. So, Tony Khan might have a lot of faults, but he does spend his money correctly. Uh, um, Yeah, I mean, I got no beef with Stone Cold, but like, uh, you know, it's like, dude, you're a pro wrestler, bro. Yeah, I think he is uptight. Because the original problem, for those of you not knowing, was Will Sasso, who is like literally Will Sasso is the nicest guy on earth. Like that guy would do nothing with any malice. So he goes on Roddy's podcast. He does a Stone Cold impression, and it's really funny. It's talking about drinking beer with his dog and not the Jeep, but in his pickup truck. And he didn't do anything about the spousal situations or DUIs. And then, we have another legend in the house, Peter Sky Parker. I mean, we are being invaded by the MLC stronghold. And Will Sasso does well, it's pretty close with Klaus, the best Jesse Ventura impression ever. And it's not just the voice, but it's the things he would say, like, I've got 150 dogs in the wild Baja. Yeah, I wish I could do impressions because I love Jesse Ventura. And but I'm not very good at impressions, to be honest with you. But that's all right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's Stone Cold, though. I mean, most major celebrities don't run their own Twitter. You are a stream chat legend, Peter Sky Parker. Um, I mean, they look pretty green. I mean, the one who looks the most like Sting with the blonde hair, uh, he looked a little rough in the ring in terms of pulling off that move. Now, the other son, he was doing the Sting corner bump really well, but no, Peter Sky Parker, don't run from your streaming. Hey, come on, sour milk. Let's roast. I don't do the online roast. Sour milk. I can't fire back at someone I don't even know their name. I'm assuming your real name isn't sour milk. But you guys control me in here. I welcome all trollers. I welcome all Dabbleverse people as long as we keep the stream friendly talk. Uh, you know, I don't put up with that stuff. Hey, we've got 25 people in here, man. That brings a smile to my face. I don't know who's going live right now. You know, I mean, Chad, you know we don't do the dabble in here, but I'll answer your question because without you, there probably would be no Dabbleverse. Uh, I don't like the Zoom roasting. You know, if you want to say something, say it to someone's face. That's the one thing I did like about Roast Battle is if you wanted to call Ralphie May fat, you could call him fat, but Ralphie's going to be right next to you, and he's going to say something back. Bitch, you want to roast me? Say it to my face. It's not like I'm a hard guy to find. Dottie Three Rips. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Well, I don't know what Barry Sobel does or doesn't do. You know, so I'm not getting sued, but I think it's kind of sad. Like I went to see my friend play at this open mic, and Barry Sobel was just loitering in the back. And it was just like either I don't know. I mean, it was just like the weirdest thing. Well, I don't like Zoom roast, so I just think because they're easy. Like if me and Chad were start roasting each other right now, and I just had a sheet of paper going, okay, uh, you know, Chad, I love you, but this would be a roast joke I would do about you. But I'm looking at the paper. Chad likes drinking so much that he uses a wine cork as a butt plug, and then I wait for Chad with shitty internet on my end. Like I don't think so. I mean, I don't. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Ray's roast, to be honest with you. Like roasting someone who's not there, like that's like T-ball. Um, yeah, Tom. What a shock that Tom Petty, who did cocaine for 40 years, died. And Ralphie May, I was blown away when a 700-pound comic died of a heart attack. I think it was no Eric Carr, the drummer from Kiss, died the same day as Freddie Mercury. So welcome, Dottie Three Rips, and Easy 123. Fat James, I was in the hospital the last 3 days of his life, and Fat James is the only guy I know that get bone cancer and get fatter. I mean, it was unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, Ralphie, you just can't be 600-700 pounds. Like it will catch up to you. I mean, when I did Roast Battle in Montreal and I walked up, there's a hotel that everyone hangs out at night and parties. It's got like a circular bar. So it's kind of fun. You just walk around the bar and you see all these people and, it's just fun. And the first night I was there, I walk up the stairs and Ralphie's sitting down. He's sweating. He looks fucking ghost white. I'm like, this guy should not be in Roast Battle. I mean, and that's another reason why I don't like Jeff. Like, Jeff knew that Ralphie should not be on Roast Battle because Ralphie's more of a shit talker. He's not a roast writer. And, a lot of people don't know this, but Ralphie had battled once before in the belly room against Sarah Tiana, the lovely and talented Sarah Tiana. And Sarah's a fucking animal, man. Like, she's very hard to beat because she's just going to smile at you and speak with that Southern drawl. And I think in at least the 5 years I was on the weekly show Roast Battle, I don't think there's ever been a battle that was just stopped. Like, I don't even think they said Sarah won. They just stopped it. It was bad. I mean, it was worse than when Mike Lawrence beat Ralphie on TV. So my point is, Jeff and his manager should have just gone, "Hey, Ralphie, if you want to judge, because I get them wanting to use a celebrity, but like they knew, and he was just getting out of a brutal divorce. He should have been nowhere near that show. Or if you were dead set on having a 700-pound comic dying before our eyes on television, I mean, that's a great friend. Uh, Put him in a bracket with me, Tiana, and Hinchcliffe. At least the three of us knew him, and although we'd all beat him, probably it would be like it wouldn't be embarrassing. I mean, Ralphie was embarrassed by that, and he should have been. It was the most uncomfortable I've ever been in a room. Think about that. 25 years in the comedy, you know, uh, but it's just that's supposed to be Jeff's friend. Um, I mean, I would say being 700 pounds, Jordan. I mean, I was at his memorial at the Improv, and they cremated him. Boy, how'd you like to be that guy who got that order? And literally, Ralphie was so big that his boxes, they had boxes of ashes. It wasn't one box. I thought they were building a new foundation on the stage. I mean, I love Ralphie May so much, I would have jumped into the coffin with him if there was room. Hello. See, that's how you roast. Ralphie told me, Earl, when I die, like he knew he was dying. Uh, don't cry, make fun of me. And I'm like, okay. Uh, okay, then send me $100, Jordan. Oh, oh, right. No, but I was just saying, someone had brought up Ralphie May. Let's roast. Um, so, I mean, Ralphie was so fat that his real last name was Ralphie May June July. Pew! Let's roast. So, but he was a great guy, like always trying to help me, hey, let me get you a manager and whatnot. And then he was like, hey, let's go fishing. I'm like, okay, I'll go fishing with you, but there better be 2 boats just in case. Pew! Um, but, just a sad ending to a great comic's life. And I think the problem was, Ralphie smoked so much fucking weed that, he got hungrier. Like, he was hungry already, but, you had weed in the late night munchies, and it just like. But one of the greats. I mean, he would send me black guys' dick pics all the time. Trust me, he was Jordan. He was. I was in the room. Like, I don't think he was knowing the people who ran Roast Battle like I know them. I think he was probably told, "Oh yeah, you're in this bracket with Miss Pat. You'll beat her because Miss Pat's not a roaster. She's a great comic, but like I said before, great comics usually don't do well at Roast Battle because great comics write structured jokes, and Roast Battle, good Roast Battle comics. It's not about writing jokes. It's about hurting someone's feelings before they hurt your feelings." So I'm sure Jeff told Ralphie, "Oh yeah, I'm going to put you in. You'll beat Miss Pat, and then there's this bearded guy, Mike Lawrence. You'll kill him." And Mike Lawrence is autistic in real life, and so with Roast Battle, you know, he wasn't just going to do a fat joke. He was going to do a fat joke that weaved into a divorce joke that weaves back into a fat joke. So he should have been nowhere near that bracket. I mean, he should have been a judge. Then he could talk shit, fuck around, but heaven forbid if you have funny judges on the show. And you notice Jeselnik, who should have been the permanent judge, he was only on for 1 episode. Gee, I wonder why. Dabble related. I should make you pay for this, Peter, but because of your legendary status, I will read it. Dabble related. I finally unsubbed from Rock Bottom Pod on all my YouTube accounts. It was only 2 days ago, and I'm noticeably happier. Well, I mean, part of why I don't charge for super chats. I don't panhandle for money. We've been on air for 35 minutes, another 10 minutes if you count the failed start of the original stream today. I have not asked for money once. I don't panhandle. Give me money. I like the money bell on MLC. I do like that. Jingle, 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 jingle. Uh, well, I mean, it's just so repetitive, that world. It's the same shit. And for me, I have ADD, ADHD. I probably have ADD too. I just get bored with the same topics over and over again. Um, so I don't. Pe- Now I know that's not $100 super chat, but Peter Sky Parker, I believe you are semi new to my stream. Every time someone super chats me, $2. Peter Sky Parker, $100 super chat. You get the ray gun. Yes, I did beat James Carr on Roast Battle, and I probably won with that clipboard prop because I did have a joke that bombed 100%. And so I think people who aren't really fans of Roast Battle go, well, Earl had a joke or two that bombed. Why did he win? Comedy Central rigged it for him. Now, do you really think Comedy Central is going to rig a battle for me when um, Jimmy Carr was going to be on the Raw, and there was the James Franco roast 2 weeks later? Clearly, they wanted him to win. Trust me, if you saw the looks of the executives' faces when they raised my hand, uh, they were not rooting for me. I mean, when I got upstairs afterwards in the green room, Jimmy could have cared less, to be honest with you. Uh, but the Comedy Central execs, Jimmy Carr's management team, they're all looking at me like I'm a piece of shit. I'm like, hey, I didn't vote, and the vote was not rigged. I had never met Seth Rogen before. The first time I ever met Seth Rogen was after the battle. I'd met Jimmy Kimmel once. And believe me, Jeff was not going to vote for me. So I think, um, the thing with Roast Battle, and it's just another reason I don't like Jeff, is any other battler who comes out there with notes or a phone would have been told, put it down and go off the top of your head. And Jimmy, his shtick is going out there with a book and going, Earl, you look like blah, blah, blah. But it's easier to read your jokes. The one joke that bombed against Jimmy, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was fucking nervous. So Jimmy had some problems with his father or whatever. And so I had a joke that I forgot to say that. And I'm like, Jimmy, you look in great shape. All those years of running from your dad. But I forgot to set it up with their relationship. And it bombed, dead silence. But then I got the crowd back when I was like, fuck. Perfect timing, of course. Oh, yeah. I mean, so a lot of people don't think I beat him because they're like, well, you had the joke that bombed. He didn't bomb. But like, it's easier reading your jokes. So I think that was Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Rogen's point of like, well, Jimmy, you're reading, and Earl's at least going off the top of his head. That he gets points for that. And let's be honest, who gives a fuck who wins a roast battle? But Jimmy's fans were quite unhappy. And there's, I mean, so many politics on that show that I won't bore you with. But there is a thing, if you've ever seen the movie Quiz Show, that when there is a cash prize, there are supposed to be zero conflicts of interest. Zero. Because it's a cash prize. Now, season 3, everyone got paid the same, so it didn't matter. But in my season, you have Jeff as the main judge, and he's an executive producer. That's literally illegal. Jeff's manager is managing contestants and judges. Literally illegal. And many other things. I mean, the first guy I beat on TV was Jesse Joyce. Great comic, great roaster, but Jesse's an employee of Comedy Central. He should have never been on the show. Um, but I mean, what are you going to do? Welcome to Hollywood. But my point is, it doesn't have to be that way. We all could have eaten. And I should have been on all 3 seasons, to be honest with you. I mean, 3 people I beat got all 3 seasons. How does that make sense? It doesn't. But that's why none of Jeff's shows last long term. That's a fact. I mean, The Burn was nothing more than a cheap knockoff of Jeselnik's show. Um, Roast Battle, it might be the only show in television history to jump the shark season 1. And Historical Roast was a disaster, 1 season. And the people you have to really feel sorry for are the creators of Historical Roast, because they had spent 10 years developing that show. I was on like a lot of their shows, and now they have nothing. And Jeff can just go on to another shitty roast show. Oh, the Tom Brady roast. Let me guess. Jeff will walk out on the red carpet in a football outfit with 2 open mic female writers dressed up as cheerleaders. Well, I mean, bumping mics is all a tell. But, were you ever in a hot tub with Kimmel and Seth Rogen? If I did, I would have been on all 3 seasons, bitch. No, I'm just kidding. See, and that's why no one ever comes after me. I speak the truth. Don't get me wrong. I'm very capable of lying. But, well, I mean, I don't want you to not be a fan or whatever, Dottie, because of me. But, I mean, my point is that, it doesn't have to be like, we all could have eaten on Roast Battle. And, like the second he came on with his manager, I got the feeling, with me anyway, it was like, well, how do we do what Earl does but not use Earl? It's like, what? Why not just use Earl? Like, what? I did drop a podcast. It was, yeah, 100% easy, 1, 2, 3. But, I mean, I don't take back one word I've ever said about him. It's just the way it is. But my point is, it doesn't have to be like that. Roast Battle is a great show when it's operating. It's literally simplicity at its finest. You take 2 people who know each other, and they go hard. And you don't have to know who they are. Because of the chemistry that they have, you'll know who they are after the battle. And, Roast Battle became everything it wasn't. Celebrities and, like, I love the Sklar brothers, and they're very funny comics, but that battle was brutal. Because you could tell they had rehearsed it. And then, there were so many comics. Forget about me, but there's so many comics who should have gotten the TV show because they helped support the weekly show every fucking week for years, and they got nothing. Take someone like Doug Fager, who probably most of you have never heard of. He's a legend in the roast battle world. A TV credit for him would have helped him so much, but Jeff's like, no, let's get the Sklar brothers on, who've never battled before. And how was that battle? It was awful. And someone like Doug, comedy clubs won't book you unless you have TV credits, basically, these days. And they don't even care what the credits are. They just want to put the Comedy Central logo on the flyer next to your name. But, I mean, Sklar brothers don't need a fucking TV credit. They've got a million of them. But, that's the wonderful world of Jeff. And people ask me all the time, is it awkward when you guys are up at the Comedy Store? Not for me. Because I don't talk shit. I hit you with facts. That's why I was tough to beat in Roast Battle. I wasn't unbeatable, but, when you drop truth bombs, it's very hard to rebut. Like, I would attack people's comedy. Because, you can call me old, but I know I look pretty good for my age. So it doesn't really help. It doesn't really hurt me. And, Ralphie could have done very well at Roast Battle if he embraced being fat. Like, yeah, I might be fat, but I get more pussy than all you put together. Or, I might be fat, but I make more money than everyone put together in this show. You embrace your weakness and you turn it into a strength. But, it just, I mean, I personally think, well, I mean, you can call someone old, but if they look good, it doesn't really hit them hard. you know. Um, but if comics are a sensitive bunch. So if you attack their comedy, that hurts. Like, you can call me old, doesn't really hurt me. You can make fun of my parents dying 2 months apart, but I got along with them both great. I love them, miss them still. Doesn't really hurt me. Um, but you attack someone's comedy, that hurts their core. Um, well, I mean, the Dabbleverse is just repetitive. That's my that's my main beef with that. Well, that was my problem when I battled Sarah Tiana is, um, I had to be real careful because I knew that Sarah Silverman, who was also judging, did not like being made fun of for being older and some body shaming jokes. So I'm like, well, I can't do any of those against Tiana. I'll lose Silverman's vote. I know Judd Apatow is just going to sit there and vote with Silverman. So I, I did kind of do more cute jokes. And, looking back, I just should have been fucking mean. Um, so, well, I look good in my leather pants. So you might make fun of my leather pants, but, you know, um, technically, like, this guy's in his mid 50s wearing leather pants, but, and people would do that at times. I mean, I remember when I battled Benji Aflalo, he had a joke about, why do you wear leather pants? I'm like, because I can afford to, bitch. So I turned my weakness of leather pants into a strength. So, I was very when I was really motivated, I I was a very good strategist on the show. Not every time. I mean, the last battle I had against my friend Robin Tran, she's trans, and I battled her in San Francisco, which is basically the trans capital of the world, and it was at the Comedy Central Festival Clusterfest. And I was so proud of my first joke. Even Mike Lawrence told me that's a great joke, and he doesn't really compliment you on your jokes because he's a great writer. I was like, "Hey, it's an honor to be here at Clusterfest. I had no idea Robin's pussy was named after this festival. 3,000 people, dead silence. They hated me. Um, and I was in a dress. I got this fucking boner sticking out. So my strategy was to be so absurdly, uh, transphobic, I guess, just for the show, and it did not work. Um, yeah, tell me about it. Well, no, I'm not transphobic. Obviously, some of my best comedy friends, like Robin and Fifi Dosh, are trans. Um, but it's roast battle. You got to say something mean. Um, so. Um, Yeah, Joe Urell. He actually made, this painting of, berry jelly, half Earl. Well, Neil Brennan said I had the best jokes, so I didn't really care if Jeff voted, for me or not. Yes, Kitty Pineapple is trans, but she is horribly unfunny. So, and I don't know her, so there's no beef between us, but, like, she really sucks. But you could tell she's just doing it to I don't know, get TikTok views, and then I don't think she'll be doing comedy. I don't think she does comedy outside of Vegas. But that was yeah, Neil's funniest joke to me at Clusterfest. He's like, Earl, I've never seen you do comedy outside of Los Angeles. Um, and no beef with Kitty. I like I said, I don't know her, like, but like from the clips I've seen, it's like, and comedy is subjective. So if you think Kitty's funny, great. Um, so I mean, I'm sure people don't think I'm funny. It's fine. There's nothing I can do about that. I don't know Norton's wife. Well, I'm not, but I mean, it's true though. Like, I think, like, Robin Tran's very funny to me. Like, she's a great joke writer. Fifi's a great joke writer. Yes, Lois doesn't like Kitty either. So, but I'm very, opinionated with stand up. Like, you're either funny or you're not. And, I from what I've seen, Kitty's pretty much a Vegas bar comic, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We all start somewhere, but like I don't see her act doing well at the Comedy Store. Like, but who knows? Maybe she'd kill. I don't know. I doubt it, but anything's possible. Well, you're right, Gavin. But my style of delivery is very slow and sarcastic and dry, and uh, so if you like and cook or well, I don't think bar shows do pay that well in Vegas, to be honest with you. I mean, you're lucky if you're getting for a bar set in Vegas, I would guess you're getting no more than $25. Now, the last time I did comedy in Vegas was at some shitty bar called the Sandpiper with more smoke. I've never breathed in. I felt like I was going to get lung cancer during this gig. The guy paid me $50, but that's because I was a Comedy Store guy and all that. Um, so, I would imagine someone of, Kitty Pineapple's experience level with zero TV credits, she's not getting more than $25. Uh, yeah, I love Todd Barry. I did his crowd work show. It's funny. Comedy Central said, "Hey Earl, we'd really like to have you on Clusterfest." I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do it." It's like, "Who do you want to roast battle?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to roast battle." And they're like, "Well, that's what we want you for." I'm like, "Well, I want to do stand up too." And so they put me on Todd Barry's crowd work show, and I didn't do that great, to be honest with you, but it was still fun. Uh, so, well, I mean, bar shows in Vegas, like, most people at bar shows in Vegas are there to drink or to watch sports. They're not there for the comedy. So the comics don't really get a cut of the door at a venue where no one's there for the show. Um, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into the comedy financial aspects of the show, but yeah, Marissa Tomei. I've never seen her at the Comedy Store, but that doesn't surprise me. Um, she, I've always had kind of a crush on her. Um, but the Comedy Store, there's always someone famous in the crowd. From wrestlers to actors to porn people, to a lot of musicians. I mean, one of the last times I was there, Gilby Clarke from Guns N' Roses was sitting in the front row. So I just started doing all these like obscure '80s metal jokes, and he was digging it. I dropped a Shark Island reference, and he was like, "Huh?" Um, yeah, she was very good in The Wrestler. Wrestler was I would say the best wrestling movies from the standpoint of actually a good movie was The Wrestler and the Iron Claw, although it wasn't very accurate at all. Um, was a, was a good movie if you don't know the story. Um, are there any ladies going to the Hackamania thing? I think KB is going. I'm assuming there will be some women there, although I'm not completely sure. Uh, it's definitely going to be a sausage fest, no doubt about that. Oh yes, that was a great interview. I mean, I thought Zac Efron looked more like Kerry Von Erich than Kevin, but I get he's the biggest star in the show. Him, that guy Jeremy Allen White. So, I I I guess you would want your biggest star to play the one um, brother that's still alive. But I got to be honest with you. I don't think that any of them were. I mean, they weren't big enough. Like they had great bodies, but like the Von Erichs were fucking giants, man. I mean, Kerry Von Erich was probably 6'3", 270. Um, Kevin was pretty big guy, and Chris was a big guy, and I did like Holt. I think it's McElhenney has the dad. He kind of looked like Fritz, but there are just so many creative liberties done with the story that I didn't like it. Like they left out the other Von Erich suicide, which to me was the most interesting of um, all the suicides and the deaths, because he basically killed himself because he didn't look as physically gifted as his brothers. So, you know, I don't know. There are a lot of problems with the movie. And when I tell people that, they're like, well, Earl, it's not a fucking documentary. But I know that. But, like, if you know the real story, it's kind of hard to sit through it. Yeah, he's just chilling in Hawaii, although he did um, show up with his two sons for AEW Dynamite, which I think he put Jay Lethal in the Iron Claw, so that was kind of fun to watch. It might not have been Jay Lethal, but it was someone. Yeah, I mean, I think the guy who played Carrie was Jeremy Allen White, and he's in the new Calvin Klein ads. Great body, but Carrie, I'm gonna guess was 6'3", 6'4", 250. Um, and Chris was a big dude, and it's all right, Dr. Nova. Uh, and then the guy who played Ric Flair, like he might be a great actor, but he was horrible as Ric Flair. Now, granted, Ric Flair is probably both an easy and a hard character to play because he's such a personality. But um, if it were me, I would have had Dolph Ziggler play Ric Flair. He's young enough to fit the bill. And I also didn't like in the movie how they made it seem like the Von Erichs only wrestled the Freebirds and Bruiser Brody. And the Bruiser Brody guy wasn't great, to be honest with you. Nor was Harley Race. I mean, they kind of looked like those guys, but I mean, Bruiser Brody was not the nice guy they portrayed. He was kind of a dick in real life. Um, yes, you can get good car advice, Dr. Nova. Yes, Earl's internet did need a jump start, but I believe right now it's uh, pretty good. New camera, new chair. This is a comfy chair. Like I could just chill like this. Hello, Luna Shtick. We're about to end the stream, maybe in about 10 minutes. I got some business to take care of. So, well, I mean, fucking Kamala, I think, they used to, before he turned like cartoonish heel in WWF, in World Class Championship Wrestling, this is before the internet. Um, you really thought the guy was from fucking Uganda. Turns out he's from Mississippi. Same difference. What the hell's the matter? Um, so, I think that, um, just, I would have liked to seen a quick scene with Kamala in it because him and Kerry Von Erich had a great feud. Now, I'm not saying you put a 20-minute match in the movie, but and I thought Gino Hernandez should have been in it more, played by the inappropriate Earl alumni, the great Ryan Nemeth. Um, and I think the director said they didn't put the other brothers' suicide in because it was too sad, but that's part of the fucking movie. So, you know, but it was a good movie if you don't know the story, like I said. I mean, I've had a rough week, Dr. Nova. I got hit by a drunk driver last Friday night, but luckily my Jeep is a fucking it's made of steel, man. So there was actually more damage done to their car. And then a couple days before that, I'll explain this to you because I'm assuming most of you outside of Jordan don't know this. I was going eastbound on Venice Boulevard, about to make a left on Fairfax. So I had the arrow. So I'm about 10 feet from making the left. I'm actually starting the process of turning the wheel. And I see a car barreling north-south on Fairfax, 50 to 70 miles an hour. And if I wouldn't have seen it and they hit me on the side, I would have been dead. And Lois would have been dead for sure. So, and then my friend Nick Lanny, we weren't great friends, but he fellow comic. His car on Wednesday hydroplaned and 3 cars hit him and he died instantly. Not to bring the chat down, but as comics of Nick's level, and he was a beginning comic, you're driving all over the fucking state to get gigs. And I'm actually surprised it doesn't happen more. But, be careful out there. I mean, my first 10 years of comedy, I logged probably 100,000 miles, literally driving from one end of the state and West Coast to the other. I mean, I remember one time I was so desperate for a good gig that I drove from LA to Medford, Oregon. It's probably a 12-hour drive, and drove back that night. So I was basically up for 24 hours. And, there's so many drunks out there at night, and, I'm surprised it doesn't happen. All right, Sour Milk, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Appreciate the listens and whatnot. Before I end the stream in a couple minutes, let me thank the tippers, the fan funders, the great Peter Sky Parker, $2. He tried to fool me by saying it was $100 super chat, but that's all right. $2 is $2. It's more than I had before the stream started. Yes, I'm not ending. I will go another 10 minutes. 10 minutes. No, but I was I was doing a comedy show in Venice, and I'm telling you, man, if this car would have hit me doors, like if she would have hit the front, I probably would have survived but been fucked up. Lois would have died. I mean, she was going 50 to 70 miles an hour. I was probably going 30. And luckily I saw it. And I have to turn my Jeep in next month, so that would have been a disaster. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Peter Sky Parker. I've done this last hour, I've made $1. I appreciate it. I'm Jewish. I'll take the money. Well, I have a great, speaking of car problems, I have a great AAA guy who does off-book work. I enjoyed your review of Sting's final match. Oh, good. I'm glad you did. What are you sorry for, Peter Sky Parker? $2 is $2. And I realize I'm kind of coming to the super chat party late. Maybe not on a Saturday, but, like when I go do my 4 p.m. streams, I realize that at that point, Shuley and Melton start at 6 a.m. Chad comes on around 10. Kevin's on MLC, and Steel Toe's on. Carl's on. So by the time I start, people have already spent their money, which I'm okay with. It's not like I'm streaming to get rich. I don't think that I'm going to, buy a mansion with super chat money. Well, a lot of AAA guys, they come out for AAA once, and then they're like, hey, if you want to go off book, it's cheaper. Like my guy sold me a battery. I think it was $120 for a top end power battery, where with AAA it would have been like $270. So, I'm all about supporting the schemers. 8-ball leather in the future. I don't know what that means, Secret Snake. Some of you guys speak in tongues, which I normally do as well. So get your last minute question. Well, I mean, I trust if they're good at what they do. Off book is, and I'm, listen, I'm all about AAA, and They have helped me many a time, but if I trust the guy and they're good at what they do, like my guy, he's very good at what he does. Oh, I don't know. I don't watch porn a while, man, even though it looks like I produce it. See, I'll end the stream with a couple jokes. Hello. Um, so tonight I'll be at the Comedy Store 12:15. I really should have gone, but it was a little pricey, to be honest with you. I only fly first class, baby doll, and that was about 2 grand for that ticket. And then, the ticket to the actual event where you were sitting, Jordan, Section A, Row 9, it was $270. I can live with that. And then I'll assume from the Charlotte airport to Greensboro, it was probably $100 each way. So, food and whatnot, taking you and your lovely other half out. The trip would have cost me over 3 grand. Now, if you said, "Hey, Earl, you can get backstage and meet Sting," I probably would have done that. But, you know, uh, who knows? I mean, I had a good time watching it on TV. Yeah. Garnett in the building from Winnipeg, Manitoba's own. Winnipeg's finest. You would come in when I'm ending the stream, you lazy bastard. So yes, and you guys know a perk of the Earlverse stream membership plan is if you ever come to the Comedy Store, you won't have to pay for ducats, and I will give you a VIP tour of the place. Now there is 2 tours. There's the tours for the commoners, and then if you have double Ds, you get to see the podcast room in the dark. Hello. I mean, Darby Allin, he's going to be a fucking cripple, man. I mean, Jordan was there. He could probably, I don't know what it looked like live, but on TV, it's like, I mean, I have different thoughts on whether that was a necessary spot. But I started thinking that, I bet you Sting told Darby, "Hey, get one spot where, you get the shine. And plus I can rest." So I know Darby got a lot of shit from a lot of podcasts saying, "Oh, he did that to take the shine away from Sting." But I guarantee it was the opposite. Sting said, "Hey, man, after that table spot I do with the Bucks at the top of the ramp, I'm going to need a break. So why don't you do a spot and make it good?" And it was all right. I mean, you could tell the Young Bucks kind of shuffled out of the way, like, "Hey, let's not fuck up the spot." So, well, I mean, I 37 likes. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, listen, I have no illusions of grandeur. I would love it if I had 500 people in here and a billion likes. But for me, 20 people in the stream, 37 likes. I'll take it for 4 p.m. Stream. I think the most number of likes I've ever had was 117 on a Sunday night. So I might have to go back to the Sunday night stream in terms of the numbers and big business. Of course, big business is this Wednesday night in the Boston Garden, I believe, where it is the rumored debut of Mercedes Moné. Who knows? We might see Okada in a match. Speaking of Darby Allin, we will see Darby Allin against the Switchblade Jay White. So, 39 likes. My favorite baseball player, the great Dave Parker. Let's just smash the like button. There's other ways you can contribute to the stream other than super chats or gifting memberships. There's subscribing. There's, hitting the notification button. There's all kinds of ways that you can help take this stream to the next level. So one day you'll come in here and there'll be 1,200 people super chatting me to roast someone when they're not in the stream themselves. Hello, goodbye. So I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate all the promotion work that you do for me. Jordan, give a shout out to Jordan for doing the new cover art thumbnails. He did about 5, maybe 10 of them, I think. Jordan is my and check his videos out, please. There's a great video of Sting's last match. Did a great video when I was on the Ric Flair roast. His videos are the best in the business, and he's really what keeps me going. You might think that I would be discouraged with only 16 people watching and 40 likes. That's not bad. I'll take it. Uh, yeah, well, the shorts are you don't make any money at all. I would say on my regular videos, that are up, I've probably made about 60 bucks. I mean, last month I made 700 in super chats. This month, I think it's about 350. So, it's a big drop, but um, I will Gavin Newscomb. Uh, so, but I think once people get on board with the no dabble talk, you know, like I'm trying to get wrestling fans in here and the super chat, about wrestling and wrestling's a very divisive subject. So, I almost want people arguing in here. Um, so, you can get that going. And hockey, is, although my NHL trade deadline stream, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't exactly a ratings bonanza. But, I did it and I had fun doing it. And, I'll keep doing it until, yeah, 80s hairband, I mean, I'm trying to pick topics that will get people talking and not necessarily arguing. Like, hey, fuck you, man. Van Halen's a better guitar player than Jakey Lee, you bitch. I don't want like talk like that in here, but um, I realize that without the Dabbleverse stuff in here and the roasting of Stuttering John and Chad and all that, um, it's going to take a while to build up the stream financially, and I'm all right with that. I don't know what the Sharks are doing. That hurdle trade was like, it's a very. I mean, they got 2 first round. Yeah, but I mean, the dabble is profitable. I hate to admit it, but I think that one stream the other day, Shuley made like $1,250 in one stream. I'm a straight shooter. The last 3 streams, probably close to 6 hours total. I've made $6. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, do I wish I was making 12.50 versus $6? It wouldn't suck. But Chile also has like producers and editors and whatnot. So, MLC kills it. Melton does very well. Chad does very well. Um, so, I'm okay uh, taking. Well, yeah, I don't 100%. I mean, basically, the super chats, I think, are like online panhandling. And so, I do think that you become, like with some of the elite super chatters like Chandler. I don't mean my ex, but a David Chandler. If he's in the stream, you kind of like you're begging him for money. And the other, Vaping Dago and a few others who um, consistently donate 50 bucks and higher. I think um, you kind of sell out to them and then you don't read $2 super chats because, well, I'm not making enough money on that. But, I'm you guys know me. We've been doing this now for an hour and 15 minutes. I've read almost every question. Now, some might say, well, don't read any questions and then you'll basically force people to super chat you. But I don't want to do that. I mean, I'm trying to just build up my name and channel, and I'm late to the party, but I'm here. And I mean, there are some days it appears like that, Peter. Um, Italian $1.99. One famous person you were disappointed by. And by the way, I'm not talking about super chats to like subliminally get you guys to send me them. Well, yeah, I mean Jeff Ross is a given because I was a fan of Jeff's before I read his book, and I'm like, oh, this guy's like the new Don Rickles of my generation, and he is not. Uh, no, I don't cook. Um, I will say John Saxon from Enter the Dragon. He was like really the first celebrity to blow me off when I was going to my doctor's office, and then he was coming out of the doctor's office. I'm like, "Oh, hey, Mr. Saxon, I'm a huge fan of Enter the Dragon. You were my favorite part. Can I get a autograph?" He just looks at me and goes, "I don't have the time." It's like, brother, that's all you got is time. Peter Sky Parker, guilt money. But see, I don't want guilt money, Peter. I'm just fascinated by the super chat world. Uh, yeah, I was doing comedy at Residuals, which is a shithole bar in Studio City, and I was not very funny at this time. I was a couple years in, and in walks Harold Sylvester. I'm like, hey, look, it's the helicopter pilot from Uncommon Valor, and he just looked at me and said something to the effect of, "Dude, I just want a drink." Like, and I walked up to him afterwards. I said, "I'm sorry, I'm just a fan of the movie." And he gave me a fist bump. Uh, Pots and pans, I don't get that question. Are you going to tell us? And by the way, thank you, Peter Sky Parker. Thank you, Italian Stallion. But I don't want any of your money, like, if you feel guilty about it. Like, I'm fascinated by, some of these shows, they'll do like these 5-6 hour streams just to, milk you guys for money. And, yeah, do I wish in the last 3 days I'd made more than $6? Yeah, 100%. But like, I still do the streams. I still think they're good. Um, uh, oh, you can leave anytime, pots and pans. I mean, I don't want you to, but if you got something to do, like I don't take it I don't take the streams personally. Well, I mean, William, I don't want to um overstate. He wasn't a dick, but I get it. He probably was filming something and he just wanted to have a couple drinks. Last thing he wants to walk into is a stand-up show where someone recognizes him from Uncommon Valor. But he was nice to me at the end. He gave me a fist bump. I paid him respect. Um, so that I hope that answers your question, Italian Stallion. Other than that, uh, I mean, Rodney Dangerfield was kind of a dick to me. I was working at a gym, and it's funny, as an older comic, I get told all the time, Earl, you could be the next Rodney Dangerfield. I mean, like, he made it in his mid-50s, so can you. I don't know about that, but so I was working at the Sports Connection in Santa Monica, and Rodney came in and he started to pull out his membership card, and I'm like, "Oh, you don't have to, man. I know who you are." And I was like, "Hey, why didn't you do Caddyshack too?" He's like, "Because I didn't want to." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Have a nice workout." Yeah, I mean, the Gene Simmons porno was a little rough, to be honest with you. I mean, at least Hulk Hogan called the girl brother at the end. Hello. Pew! Listen, I'm going to end the stream when we get to 50 likes. Oh, good. Well, I try and give a good answer. Like, when you guys super chat me, I mean, let's be honest, you're not exactly asking me tough questions, but bright lights, city lights. I'm talking about the Yankee Rose. When she walks, the sparks will fly. Fire cracking like the 4th of July. No sad songs in the air tonight. It's funny. My friend Maria Parkinson was in that video. Was the older comic who's walking down the aisle and almost slips on the can. My doctor says I have to have a laxative. Not in my store, you don't. Yeah, David Lee Roth videos were really funny. That the guy who played the Arab guy, that the 7-Eleven clerk, he was pretty funny. I was bullied horribly as a kid. Um, I was called Elephant Man because I mean I told you guys this before. I was a fucking I've been the same size since the fourth grade. I mean, maybe not as jacked as I am. I mean, look at his body for 55. This should get some super chats. Look at that shit. No belly on me, bitch. Uh, well, but I was so big, I was like called Bigfoot. Kids are fucking brutal. And it wasn't the bullying online. There was no online when I was a kid, so you got bullied to your face. You should super chat me if I gave you an erection. See, now I'm panhandling. Give me money, honey. Um, so yeah, if I give you a boner during the stream, that's a $50 super chat. Come on, you pores. No, I'm just kidding. I like doing that at the Comedy Store late night, like when the crowd's like dispersing, sometimes, right? When I'm about to show us your cereal bowl, that's the $5. Come on, man. I mean, what? You guys are out of control. Show me your cereal bowl. Yeah, but bullying back when I was a kid was face to face. I mean, kids would walk up to me and call me Elephant Man, and it's fucking sucked. But that's just in high school I was a pretty big kid. I mean, I was definitely one of the bigger freshmen. I was a maniac in the football field, but then when I saw two black kids my age, that ended my football career. I said, "Where are the golf tryouts, brother?" So, all right, we got 9 more minutes. We're going to do an hour and a half stream, 9 more minutes, and then Daddy's got to take care of some business. I'm like Christian Cage. Shut your mouth while I conduct some business, while I conduct my business. By the way, I'd smash Nick Wayne's mom. She looks like she's hiding how big her flapjacks are. Money isn't a factor. What song would you use for a comedy special? Probably a Rat song. Probably Round and Round. What goes around comes around. I'll tell you why. Did it. Looking at you. Looking at me. The way you move. It's easy to see the neon lights on you tonight. I got a way. We're gonna prove it tonight, like Romeo to Juliet. It's all the same. She said, I knew right from the beginning that you would end up winning. Daddy Man, who was the name of your favorite childhood servant from the Skakel estate? Leroy, man. Come on. And then in the Miami estate, it was Dorothea. She was about 5'3", 240. 51 likes. I didn't even notice that. 50 likes. I said I would end the stream when we hit 50 likes, but I'll take 50 likes. Marie Osmond doesn't look too bad for a broad her age. Who's more likely to reunite, Rat or Skid Row? That's a good one. I mean, I would say Rat, but because I don't think Skid Row will ever sing with Sebastian Bach in the band. We woke up to the sound of pouring rain. And those are the only words I know. I remember you throughout the sleepless nights. Skid Row in their day was pretty fucking good, but I get it, I like before I did Roast Battle, I used to think, why don't these bands just get together, get along like Rat? The 4 of the 5 classic members, it's not the original members, but because Jakey Lee wasn't really even the original guitar player in Rat, but I always thought, why can't these guys just get along? And once I was on Roast Battle, and I think I had quit that show 3 times before the TV show had ever hit, then I got it. Like once the money starts coming in, and I know for sure, like when about 2 years into Roast Battle, I was like, well, this show sells out every fucking week. Where's the money, honey? And Jeff came up to me one night with Willie Hunter and Coach T, because we were all 3 talking about sold out shows every night. Now Moses should get whatever money he gets, but like, um, Jeff just goes, "Hey guys, roast battle's not about the money; it's about the hang." Shit, coming from the guy who gets all the money, honey. I mean, I'm trying. 27 people. I mean, the biggest chat ever for me was the Sunday night stream where I had, I think, a high of 70 people in here and 117 likes. And I think I made about 150 that night. So yeah, that's Warren DeMartini and Drop D tuning for you guitar freaks out there. Lay it down under this. Yeah, Jeff Ross ain't the king of shit. I would squash him in a roast because I know things that even he doesn't think I know. Trust me on that one. I've got moles everywhere. So I'm what you call an information gatherer. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, listen, Gene and Paul probably don't really like each other at this point. I mean, when you work for someone with someone for 50 fucking years, I would imagine there's got to be some bad blood. Scrambled, well done. I do not. I just got a manzillion. I got nothing down there now. Um, so, I mean, you have to, I think, some people are capable of working with people they hate, you know, or don't get along with anymore. So, and some people aren't. Like the original four member or the classic lineup of Rat, minus Robin Crosby, of course. They know the money's there, but they just can't stand each other. And Piercy's in a great position because he um, has his own band. They call it the Rat Bastards. He sells out everywhere he plays, and he probably pays the guys in his band 250 a show, and then he gets the rest. Like they played the Whiskey, it was a sold out show. I don't know how much is a sellout in the Whiskey, but it was beyond packed. And so why play with Rat and split everything four ways? Because I don't think Carlos Cavazo would get an equal split. Maybe he would because of his Quiet Riot reputation. But why do that instead of just, it's like Bret Michaels, that's why Poison doesn't really play anymore because Bret would have to split the money with the other three guys. Whereas with the Bret Michaels solo band, you can just keep most of the money and those guys get maybe $200. Well, Kiss sold out long before that Folgers commercial. Oh, which Rat tribute band? Was it Rat and Roll? All right, we got 2 more minutes with 52 likes. That's no joke. The stream. Oh, really? I liked Rat and Roll. That's one of the coolest concert experiences I ever saw. I saw Rat and Roll at the Troubadour, and none of them really looked like Rat. I mean, the singer was pretty chubby, and Piercy's anything but chubby. And I remember the last song, and it was going to be Round and Round. He's like, we've played with Steven, we've played with Warren, we've played with Bobby. Well, now we're going to bring out the other two guys. And Juan and Robin Crosby walked out. And it was the weirdest thing to see Robin Crosby just pick up some shitty out-of-tune guitar. And you could tell for those 5 minutes he was happy. And he's standing next to the fake Robin Crosby. So it was just like, huh? But yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, that's the only time I've seen them. You don't see a lot of Rat tribute bands, which is a little surprising. Samantha, hey, Paul Stanley, I'm like, look at some of the broads he dated back in the day. A prime Samantha Fox, a prime Donna Dixon. He done good with women. Oh, okay. I mean, it's probably is the same Rat and Roll, to be honest with you. I don't imagine there being 2 Rat and Roll tribute bands. But maybe they are. Okay, we're in the final minute, guys. Get your last questions. Uh, it's funny you mentioned Arby's and Jeff. I have a story about that, but That might have to be for members only chat. We keep it real on this podcast. 30 seconds, guys, for any final Earl questions. Yes, at some point he did. I don't know if it was before, to be honest with you. 30 seconds in the third period, guys. Earth Sucks is he's doing the official countdown, so I'll get in all the plugs at Earl Skakel everywhere. You guys know the PayPal and Patreon links. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate it very much. An hour and a half stream for you guys. The next stream, we'll go 6 p.m. tomorrow night. 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Earth Sucks with the countdown. 6 p.m. in the Earl verse.